Hey y'all. So last week we talked about the layer step, and this week we're going to talk about the resolution step of combat. Now, it would be really nice and symmetrical if I could say this was the last combat step, but it actually isn't. There's technically two more steps of combat after the resolution step, but they don't really matter very much. At least as of the cards right now, they don't really matter very much. In fact, in one of them you don't even get priority. So it's kind of like the last combat step that actually matters as of the cards that are available right now. That's so much less catchy. Anyway, let's get into the key points of the resolution step. So, the first key point is that Go Again has not resolved yet, which means that the attacking player has not yet gained the action point that they would once Go Again has resolved. Now, this is really important if you're an ice hero with access to Blizzard, or your hero's name is Icelander. And we'll get more into that in the examples. The second point is that damage has already been dealt. So at this point in the resolution step, we are past the reaction phase. So no attack or defense reactions can be played at this point. Also, damage has already been dealt, so there isn't much point of playing those reactions even if you could. However, you could still activate instants like your lightning press or your ability of exude confidence. However, the damage increase from those effects won't really matter typically at this step because, damage has already been dealt. But it is legal for you to play cards like this if you want to. Thirdly, on-hit effects go on the stack in the resolution step, and they resolve one by one as players pass priority. Now, if there are multiple on-hit triggers, the turn player, in other words, the attacking player, gets to decide in which order they go on the stack. So for a very typical example would be Katsu with like an on-hit draw effect like Snatch. Typically, they'd want to layer it so that they draw from Snatch first, and then they get to resolve the Katsu trigger with more information about what they want to discard. So, with those three key points, let's get into some examples. So, for the first example, imagine a game state where I'm on Briar against some ice hero, let's just say it's Lexi. So, I look at my hand, and I know that I want to try and get the on-hit of the Snatch, and so I decide I'm going to save my Lightning Press for the Snatch. I'm going to just start my turn with the Rabble, and after the Rabble, use the Snatch, and have the Lightning Press to push the on-hit of the Snatch. So, my opponent looks at this Rabble, and say they just take the damage, or maybe they block. But after reactions and on the resolution step, before the Go Again from the Rabble has resolved, they play Blizzard, which says, target attack loses and can't gain Go Again unless the attacking hero pays 2. So now I'm in a bit of a bind, because if I pay 2, then I have no more cards remaining to even use the Go Again on the Rabble. So I'm kind of forced to just end my turn here with 2 cards remaining, which is a bit of a blowout. And obviously, using Lightning Press now on the Rabble doesn't really matter because we've already gone past damage. So I could still give it +3 damage, but that's not really going to reduce my opponent's life total. Now, of course, if we're in a state where I'm kind of low on life, and I don't want to get stuck with a non-block in my hand, I might still just use a Lightning Press here, accept the fact that I got blown out, and so I can go ahead and arsenal the Snatch, which is actually a relevant 1-card hand in the event that I'm forced to block out with the 4 cards on my opponent's turn. For this next example, we're going to talk about Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. So the text on this card says, when an attack action card you control hits, you may destroy Mask of the Pouncing Lynx, and if you do, search your deck for an attack action card with 2 or less power, banish it, then shuffle. You may play it this turn. So the important thing to note about this card is that it triggers every single time an attack action card you control hits, and it's only upon the resolution of that trigger that you, the controller, get to decide whether you actually want to destroy this to search your deck. So, for example, let's say I'm on fire against an Icelander. I start with a Ronin Renegade, and say the Icelander lets it hit, my mask will trigger. And I can decide, you know what, it's too early, I'm not going to destroy it. I play my second Ronin Renegade, and again, say this one hits, the mask triggers again. And again, on the resolution of that trigger, I say, you know what, I don't want to destroy it yet. When I play the third one, though, I'm thinking that if they let this one hit, I might actually use the mask. So I play the third one, and it does hit, the mask triggers, but my opponent Icelander, kind of suspecting that something might be up, they respond with a Channeled Bleak Expanse, which, the text on this card basically prevents me from searching my deck. However, this is not that much of a blowout, because I haven't actually destroyed the mask yet. So they played a channel, my mask trigger is still in the stack, when we go to resolve it, I can just choose not to resolve it and just save it for later. However, had they used the channel after I had chosen to resolve and destroy the mask, that would have been too late, because after I've destroyed it, I already get to search a lava burst before my opponent gets a priority window. Basically, the destruction effect and the search effect of this mask happen simultaneously, and so there's no priority window in between those two for your opponent to respond. So, for this last example, imagine that my opponent has played some big attack into me. And based on the blocking decisions the previous turn, I'm expecting that there's going to be a pummel behind this. Also, they have like multiple cards left in hand. So, me, with the Sigil of Solace in my hand, what I can do is block out this attack with the remaining cards in my hand, and my opponent, wanting to push damage and wanting to make me discard my last card, in the reaction step plays their Pummel, which says, target attack action card with cost 2 or greater gains +4 power, and if this hits, the defending hero discards a card. So, we move past reactions into the damage step. I'll take the damage from the Pummel, and in the resolution step, the on-hit effect of the discard goes in the stack. Well, I can just respond to that discard trigger with my instant speed Sigil of Solace and gain the 3 life. So then, once the discard effect resolves, I have no cards remaining, and so the Pummel discard, well, nothing happens. So that basically turned the Pummel into a 2-cost 4 power thing, which is just, it's really bad value. So that's what I wanted to cover about the resolution step. There are obviously lots more other specific examples that I could have covered, but I'm hoping that this gives you a solid foundation to figure out when this applies to your games. I plan to do a couple more of these interactions explain type videos, so let me know in the comments if there are certain interactions that you would like to see gone over in a video like this. And thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.